read that extra stuff.
They have.
Good evening. I'll open up the Select Board meeting for Tuesday, September 16th. We opened an executive session at 6:15, and now we are in open session at 6:30. May we start with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. The first item on the agenda is the reorganization of the board. Anyone?
Okay, I can start if you'd like. I've had a number of people, that happens each time there's availability, who are always mention something about maybe getting new blood into the organization. And having said that, and there's I think a couple of letters that were sent out to us from concerned citizens. I would like to make a nomination for chair for Ken Willett.
Is there a second? Are there other nominations?
How do you feel about it?
I would respectfully decline as the newest member of the board. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but as the newest member of the board, I do find myself still learning and still engaging and drawing on the experience of the current board members, because I feel if I don't take this opportunity to understand what's happened before and to learn from the collective experience, I'd be doing a disservice to the people who did vote for me. I know some people like Ware for what it has with the quality of its people, the history that it has, and that's what I need to learn, how the board operates and how they work together collaboratively. So while I do appreciate it, Jack, and I'm honored that you would consider me, I would respectfully decline as being the newest member and feeling I do want to learn more before I take that.
Okay.
Are there other nominations? So does everyone want to keep everything the way it is?
I would expect so, if there's nobody else that's interested.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
well, thank you. Thank you. So we will move on. There is no reorganization to take place at this time. Under announcements and opening remarks, I will, may I do this first? Or you can do it first?
No, yeah.
I was asked to let everyone know, and I know this will be on the website and the Ware News and on TV 15. There'll be a bulky waste disposal day on Saturday, October 18th from 7 o'clock in the morning till 12 noon at Resource Waste, 198 East Street, Ware. Items free for disposal are love seats, couches, box springs, chair, mattresses, power equipment, but it must be drained of all fluids, and it says et cetera, and I'm not sure what et cetera means, so you would have to contact Resource Waste. Under prohibited items, it's food waste, liquids, fluids, paints, oils, yard waste, meaning brush and leaves. Hazardous waste items with a fee are truck tires at $75, loader tractor tires $500, passenger tires $30. Freon units, which consist of air conditioners, refrigerators, etc., would be $22. Television, computer monitors $40. This is open to Ware residents only, and it's made possible by a partnership between Resource Waste Services and the town of Ware. There is no allowance for trailer loads of house cleanouts or construction of debris. John,
Okay.
you're next.
Yeah, one of the things that we've had here is vacant properties, and that they really are in very bad shape. And one of the things that's happened, a lot of we're very limited as to what we can do with the time frame for doing it. And sometimes it happens that we have lawn sweepings, grass, trees actually blowing over and onto the town sidewalks. Again, it's very, very difficult to get anything done with that. And I'd like to suggest that we have some sort of a bylaw as far as what can be done to have those residents repair this, or for us to do the work ourselves. If we try and do it through the existing process, it's very long, very lengthy, very difficult. And I'm hoping that we could perhaps get some sort of bylaw. I'm just kind of putting this out for thought. I think it would make things a lot easier to have those cleanups take place. Is there something we could look to town council on that?
Yes, I want to just clarify back to you. Do you mean on public property, on the sidewalks?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, absolutely.
So even on roadways is what you're saying, too? Even on roadways, anything
Oh,
that's
yeah,
public?
anything, sure.
I believe the city of Springfield has something.
Yeah, we had previously
I know.
asked on private property, and the town council recommended against that for liability reasons and
Right.
ownership reasons, but for the sidewalk, certainly.
Okay. Good.
Anything else, John? No?
Yes,
Just
I
any-
got a few
Sure.
other concerns. I got a call just before I got here, and I took a run by the parking lot near Veterans, and there was a concern that there were some bins that were there, trash bins, which was, that's the way it was described to me.
Okay.
So I went down there, and there were Planet Aid bins that are there. The concern that was voiced to me is that if they're handled the same way that the bins are, I'll give an example at the Big Y, it's going to be a disaster with all sorts of junk, put on the outside. It's taking up, although people can park there, and it's going to, sort of mess people up. They'd have to get out of their vehicle and walk over there. But it's taking up two parking spots that are there. So those were the main issues that were pointed out to me, but especially about rubbish being there and unsightly. So I don't know how.
They must have gone through you, Stuart.
Yeah,
to
they
get
did.
the approval.
There's actually been, unlike the blue bins, not at Big Y, but at the parking lot across from McDonald's.
Isn't it the school?
Yeah, the cure lead.
Planet Aid has been very responsive. The school department decided they didn't want them, although we watched those sites quite carefully, and so we moved them here. It's not garbage, it's not rubbish, so it's clothes. Clothes and shoes, that's what those are for. Just to clarify, they don't take parking spots, and I've been here the past 3 weekends. People park right in front of them, which is the intent. There's still spots there. They're up on the grass behind the spots.
Right.
And we've arranged with them that they'll only come on specific mornings when the restaurant's not open, so there shouldn't be a competition. Town staff parks over there always, so we can keep an eye. And we made it clear to Planet Aid that should it become a situation where it's spilling over or there's stuff that's not closed there, then we will get rid of them. But they've been very responsive. It does generate a minor income for the town. So we'll try it out, but yeah, if it creates a situation that's down in the parking lot on West Street, then no, we don't want that.
And I think, Stuart, if I might interject, my understanding is from Planet Aid, they've changed, I think, their method of coming much more frequently, and they've been very responsive in other communities because there is such a need now for, clothing and shoe items or whatever, things that people just don't seem to know how to get rid of. So, yeah, I think as long as we keep an eye on it and we can ensure that it's not problematic, we are actually helping.
Right, so it's important, to follow up on that comment, it's important for us to do as much outreach as we can for those items that people don't want to get rid of. They should go to Resource Waste on
Correct.
October 18th dispose of them at the bulky waste.
Right. So I'm assuming that we'll be doing Wherever News TV 15 and Resource Waste itself will have some signage. Do you think it would be helpful to do not only on this electronic sign, but we have those big signs?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything conflicting with those, so yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
The highway LED signs that
Yes.
they can put out and
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, we'll put them in front of the
Does anyone
schools.
else have anything before we move on?
Yes.
You do? Oh, some more?
I
Oh,
saw-
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Stuart, Buckley Court status?
We have hired a contractor to do the work. We're waiting for his timeline to do it.
Okay. And I'm not sure if I'm phrasing this properly, but the overgrowth management of the valves along some of the dikes on the Corps of, I think it's the Corps of Engineer,
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah, we need to hire, not just for those areas, but there's areas over the sewer lines that also need mowing, because
Yeah.
they weren't done last year. So yeah, that needs to be hired and completed.
Okay, and that will, I had mentioned it to somebody that was interested. He said nobody got back to him.
Okay.
So that'll be followed up then, and,
Yep.
Okay,
We have two local contractors. We could check in with both of them.
yeah. And the status of the Wednesdays by appointment only,
Great question.
I've got some comments on that from a couple of people. And I know that we had said that we were going, as a board, we were going to wait, see how it played out.
Right.
And then I'll throw it out to you now.
Okay, so, yeah, we agreed to a 6-month review, and coincidentally, we're at almost 7 months of it
Yeah,
operating. We also, every week, hear comments from some, usually a handful a day, people that are inconvenienced that didn't know about it and would like to pay a bill. And we've arranged to accept their payments or set up appointments as they need. The biggest benefit in this building to a department is the treasurer collector's office, in that it definitely helps them get caught up with their reconciliations and their banking and their paperwork. Other departments, it actually has turned out it doesn't affect one way or the other. So, town clerk, I think, benefits from some break so they can catch up with paper as well. So those are the two main departments. The other, as I said, building, accounting, our department, up here planning, probably doesn't affect as much in terms of time needed. So if there's a modification to be made, we can either wait longer, or we could try and figure out how to focus which departments are not available to the public. I think those are the options.
and that was just the two, the town clerks and the,
This financial area.
yeah, so those are the only two that
Yeah,
you,
so
And-
I would add the assessors to this financial group, but
Right, and I think building too, I know that, it's been.
it hasn't changed her day, and we've talked.
It hasn't changed her day, right, but it's like, I know she constantly, because we have somebody that sits, and kind of interacts with the public if they do need to come, and I know on a regular basis, they've come into all of the 3 offices that Stuart has mentioned to, because we're there, we're actually working, so we have to stop doing what we're doing, but I know that, Anna, as building commissioner, has gone out of her way to help people, as has the treasurer collector, because we did have people show up, or if someone comes and drives from Connecticut and didn't think to call, we've actually issued their records or gone out of our way to be helpful to them. So Stuart is right that, on a regular basis, we get to have some quiet time to do all the things that we need to, but we're prepared that if we have to, we service the customers.
therefore, we're going to leave it the way it is, or we're gonna
Unless
just say
the
the,
board would like to change it or modify it. One thing I would like to add is, we've made very good use of our senior volunteers to educate the public coming in the door as to how they can alternatively pay or get their services, or how to call and make an appointment. And that's worked very well. The seniors have done a great job with that. You know, originally the plan was to do it for a year, checking in now at the 6-month point. Can stick with that, but if you wanna make, or have us come up with modifications and bring it back to you, we can do that to the board.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I like the suggestion. I acknowledge the benefit to the town staff, but like Jack, I've heard from residents as well, their concern. And and understanding there is a need to take advantage of the staff we have, and we don't have overstaffed offices. And we have to try and support our staff to get the work done in a timely manner so that they feel they want to work and wear and not feel overworked. I acknowledge that. But it's almost the perception that the town government is keeping them from accessing what they think is a needed thing. And they may not understand the reason behind it. And as Stuart said, once they encounter one of the volunteers and the volunteer walks them through the other ways of doing it, and as Nancy said, if somebody comes and has to get something done, then that is done. They don't say, no, you can't come. I haven't heard that. So I like the suggestion of Stuart coming back at a future meeting with some alternatives, whether it's a half day as opposed to a full day closure, whether it's 2 half days, I don't know what, but to be responsive to what we're hearing and then to work with Stuart to balance it to support the town staff.
What is it now, half day, one half day,
Entire-
Wednesday?
entire-
8 to 4 on Wednesday, the whole day Wednesday.
Oh, the whole day, okay. All right. Okay, so we can see how that, I guess, that plays out. Stuart, the status of the crosswalks being not repainted, but
Brightly painted?
yeah.
Yes, so.
Pine and cherry,
Pine and
right?
Cherry, although I've seen a couple other places where it might benefit. They're paving this week, so the DPW has a lengthy list to get through before the end of fall, which hasn't even started yet, but, yeah, it's on their list, but they gotta get through their paving first.
Okay.
I'll
all
make my
right.
comment.
At least I have a little bit of information to give to people. Now, the thorn in my side, and it just continues to get worse, is e-bike. Just zipping in and out of traffic and running, in my estimation, rampant on sidewalks. And I know I'm just waiting for somebody to get hit. Can we, I'm not really sure how to address this. Can we put signs up, I'm thinking signs up and fines.
I don't know, I don't know if you can or you can't, you perhaps know differently, but I think we would have to check with council on that first, because I know we asked the legislators to check and see
Right.
with where they are with because they become problematic across the
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
So, but I don't wanna see us do anything that would be injurious and cause
Oh, no.
liability to the town, so.
Yeah,
It's not even e-bikes now,
It's
just alone,
everything.
it's the scooters. I followed a
Absolutely.
scooter doing 30 miles an hour down West Street.
Yes.
30.
yes.
I kept my distance, but 30 miles an hour, no helmet, dressed in complete all black,
Yeah.
right
The
at
other way.
twilight.
Right,
And part of the problem as I'm watching them is some of them will be on the sidewalk and then they'll cut into the street and then they'll go back on the sidewalk and then cut across the street. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Jack, do you have anything else, just because we have guests and I just don't, can we hold this in abeyance until?
We can hold it in abeyance,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So we have 2 meetings that were scheduled, 6:35 PM, and I apologize for the Domestic Violence Task Force. We have Monica Moran and Mel.
Melissa Hutchins.
My
Yes,
apologies.
And Melissa
thank you.
Hutchins.
No, not at all. It's all interesting.
Fine.
So we wanted to come, we won't take too much of your time, but Jack, we talked at the National Night Out and you suggested that we come by and check in. And I know I came here with the, Ashley, the advocate, some time ago, and there's a new advocate. I think a lot of you already know Melissa, of course, but we just wanted to check in. But, you know, we do have the 10th annual Domestic Violence Awareness walk and community gathering on October 5th. Thank you, Nancy. I saw the flyer in the hallway. I walked in, I was like, allies. So we wanted to let folks know and bring some flyers if people have other places that they can post them. It's the 10th year, it's the 15th year of the Ware High School Domestic Violence Task Force, and they lead, as you know, they actually MC it, and they speak. And Dan Orzelak, who I'm sure you all know, who with Jesse Trisbett leads that high school group. Dan will be giving an award because it'll be his last time. And so it's just, it's a big one, and so we want to make sure everybody knows about it and everybody, you know, as much. So there's going to be a raffle for some bikes. Chief Crevier got some bikes, Mel helped. So there'll be a free raffle for some kids' bikes and face painting and music, and it's a little bit more like a celebratory than a vigil kind of feel this year. And there'll be a banner over Main Street that Mel. So I have these. If I can give some to you, or you already have them. Does anybody have a place they might be able to post them that I can? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
I'll take a couple.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I'm so glad you came down.
Oh yeah. It's great. National Hangout was great as well.
It's very informative, and it's also time to gather and, like you say, celebrate, but it's also time to create a richer awareness of how things have changed with the fact that there is a task force, that there are people to help support those in need. And it's not just about women being battered either. There's all kinds of violence that takes place, you know, which affects many, including children.
Well, I can tell you, Nancy, it affects 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men. And in preparation for the meeting today, I wanted to let you know, as a domestic violence advocate for BHN, who we're serving and where in collaboration with people like the task force. So yes, my name is Melissa. I'm a BHN DV advocate. I am the civilian police advocate for Ware, Warren, and Hardwick and New Braintree. So when there's police response to the home, they inform me so I can go in and offer services, safety plan, accompany them to court, help them through police, DCF issues. We link them to mental health referrals, community benefits, housing is a big one. So just in Ware alone, and I should have had these numbers for you last week, Stuart, we have served 88 people from Ware, just from the first of this year to date.
That's awesome.
We have served 318 total this year. So almost 28% of the people we serve are right here in town. So I just wanted to let you know that there's benefit to these services and to these collaborations, and you know, we are helping families and we're getting in their doors.
Melissa, do you go with the police at all, or do you?
I don't go out, I don't respond immediately.
Yeah.
I come in after when it's safe, when there's no abuser, for my protection and
Yeah.
for the survivor's protection. The abuser really shouldn't have eyes on me. So I go in after, help them get an emergency restraining order, help them 10 days later to get an extension. If we need to go into the police department and file reports, I can accompany them there. We provide limited transportation. That's big when we have rural towns with, you know, limited public transportation. We go out into homes. We meet them in the community wherever they feel safe.
That's awesome. Thank you. for
I'm
doing
gonna
that.
add to that, because we recently had a meeting, and Stuart and the police chiefs from Warren, Hardwick, and Ware, and not many towns have this structure where the police, an advocate follows up. It's almost like part of the police response, that if you have domestic violence, you're gonna get an offer of help. And those, you know, so the police logs go to the advocate. That is not common. And at the last, we have a quarterly meeting, and we had the conversation, what if this protocol wasn't in place? And, you know, do we have any idea how many people in Ware would be being reached? And we don't, but the person there who works at BHN, Paula, probably you know, said in another town nearby, when they had this protocol also, and then it stopped because the police didn't want to do it anymore, they had 80% fewer people that the advocates were connecting with. So it's a huge difference to have
That's a
the
lot.
protocol in place
Yeah.
that takes Stuart's support, that takes Chief Crevier, Chief Landine and Chief Millett and BHN and the task force all working together.
That's great.
But I might comment too, from the onset, and it has taken years to get to where we are, with a lot of effort by people such as yourself, and with Stuart, and with the police chief. That's why the program has grown, and through the efforts of, the task force and the members through the Ware High School and under Dan Orslak too, to create an awareness, but
Yes.
also to be a support base for those that are having problems.
Absolutely, I think it is very much owned by the town. It's not just this little,
Right.
few people,
Right.
yeah.
Anyway, thank you for coming.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
we'll see you
Yes,
down
thank
the
you.
walk.
Thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Cards?
Yeah, and I left some brochures, I left some pens and paper, and some cards here.
And the cards, I mean, so the idea is that everybody's our ally, and so I think we talked about this last time. So if you all can take Mel's card and keep it in your wallet and have it in the mindset that you are all part of, everybody here is part of the task force, and have your eyes open, and if there's a place you're like, hey, they could put a stack of cards here, or this person, maybe they need this card, let me just say, gracefully,
But be a good listener, and that's how I got involved.
Yeah.
yes.
One last
Absolutely.
question
Nancy can tell you about
for you, is you're associated with the high school also, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very
Yes.
important.
Yes,
You'll have a
yes.
big presence in the walk.
Great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you for your time.
All right,
and
thank you.
support.
Thank you.
Yes, good to see you.
And then we have
Good luck with your,
park commissioners,
Thanks.
our parks and recreation manager, and employee of the park. You want to come forward so that we can have a nice robust discussion about something that's near and dear to my heart. And I know the other members want to hear. We have a handout that Stuart presented to us on pool improvements, and I know we've been unsuccessful in trying to secure grant funds, but I think it's time, Frank might lead off the discussion. I hate to use the word bite the bullet, but I think we need to decide where do we want to go from here, or are we willing to just wait again? And I, for one, am not willing to wait any longer. We have a need, and I want to hear your thoughts, so Bill, you're still chairing.
Yeah. Well, we did, a company come in, Caroline Cooney Associates come in, probably 3 years ago. And we've got a preliminary design on the pool location. We did a wetlands research through that process. 2 years ago, we got estimated at 3.3 million. That would include the swimming pool, a splash pad, and revitalization of that area. Had nothing to do with the bathhouse and the pump house.
It had nothing to do with the bathhouse?
No.
Okay,
That wasn't included in that process.
okay.
So, now we look at it, and 2 years down the road, we're probably looking at 5 million, just a guess. But that's where we are. I mean, all of us support the pool. I know one of us strongly supports the pool, Kenny. And,
He used to work there.
Yes. And so, I mean, we've looked at a block grant. We tried that. We came up a little bit short with a block grant. That was probably a year and a half ago. Stuart worked with the EPA, I believe it was. Came very close again for a grant to get that put in. We just didn't get it across the goal line. So, this is a lot of money. So we were that's the next step, is funding.
So my question to you is, based on everything, and I know you've done surveys, and I know when I was involved with recreation, we always did surveys, the location seems to be the most appropriate, because I also know there's a couple other places, and I kind of mentioned to Stuart, but that location to me is the most visible, would be the most accessible, and has the most promise for even doing upgrades and total refurbishment to include even like a playground area, which I
Right.
know, because I think there's, right now, my recollection is there's still some land that really could be cleared out. I know you always have to worry about, conservation, wetlands, what's the correct word, Stuart?
Resource area?
No, when you have to compensate, I couldn't think of it.
Flood storage, yeah.
Thank you. But the town owns a large parcel of property there. So I didn't know if you had also looked at any other viable spots within the community, or were your efforts concentrated on that particular spot?
I'm pretty sure that this outfit had looked at different areas within the community. But also, when we talked about the grants, they said one of the pluses was the location, because it's kind of central to the town.
Correct.
A lot of folks can walk there,
Right.
don't need a car, where, they're saying that most of the folks that would go in there wouldn't be, have a vehicle. So if we put it somewhere far out from the central location of town, it would be a little difficult to access it.
And would it be, as I look at the plan, that the pool would be in the same general area no
Yes,
matter what the
yes.
size? And the parking would be in front?
Parking would be
Where it currently
about
is.
right where it is now.
That's not-
Was there any indication with them, especially in view of the conservation issues with the water right there with the brook, that they might be able to have a parking lot in the
No,
lower
they-
area?
They felt that it was existing and we'd just be able to take, take the opportunity to reuse that parking area now to turn it into a parking. It's, they talked about pool entrance as a loop there to the current. I don't know if you've seen the plans.
With a smaller version?
Okay.
There was also a retention pond, a form of, in
Yeah.
the front of the pool where we access to go down to mow it.
Okay.
That was part of the design for the actual parking lot area, because we had to go through, do we want permeable surface? The bricks, the geo bricks, do we
Right.
want asphalt, do we want gravel? We went through it all. And that also falls in the National Heritage Corridor,
Okay.
as well as wetlands and so on and so forth. That was probably one of our first questions to this design team when they came down. Is this the right location? Should we be pursuing other areas? And they spent a lot of time on it, it was part of the study. And the answer, maybe not word for word, it worked for 90 years. Yeah, it is a location that the plan was to redesign it so that we would eliminate going into the water table and raise it up. Instead of having a 10-foot with no diving board,
Right.
we don't need that. Cut our volume of water down so that it would be less to treat, less to fill,
Yeah.
but still have the same surface area to accommodate the amount of swimmers that our pool currently accommodates, without making it bigger and exceeding the footprint that's currently there. It was a redesign. The biggest challenges that the company proposed to us when they did this was, how do you want the layout? Obviously, the new standards now are a lot different than what we currently have at our old pool.
Right.
The easiest way to describe it, we took a field trip, I think it was Bill, Stewart, and myself, to a pool in Chicopee that was redone by a park grant. Obviously, Chicopee qualifies for more funding than the town of Ware due to the amount of people they have. And they did an L shape, so it's 0-degree entryway and goes down and it makes an L, and that's, to the best of my recollection, that was what we chose for a design. The same thing, not to exceed that footprint. And that's where they went.
So my other question or comment is, because there's such a high cost with chemicals, was there any consideration for doing a saltwater pool? Was that even discussed?
It was discussed, and I won't go word for word to try to get it exactly, but it was the disinfectant part of it regarding public pools.
Because of public
And
meters.
the volume of water, etc. But I would have to go back through the literature to give you 100% what was explained to us.
Okay.
But now that you brought that up, as far as the cost of chemicals, we never got that far
Okay.
in this estimate to know what it will cost for electricity to run this pool now, current times and prices. We never got to the cost of what the chemicals would be to operate this pool currently. And we obviously haven't addressed what the cost of employees would be to run it at current rates of what hourly salaries are 5 years later from when we stopped. And
So-
also the biggest thing, can you get them?
Can you get it? Correct.
We struggle day in and day out for any municipal job currently. Can we find people to fill these positions and what's it gonna cost us? We never got that far in that end of it to a cost analysis of what, it was $2,000 a month 6 years ago for the electricity to run that pool. What is it currently? We didn't get that far where we ended with what we have in front of you and in front of us.
So-
It never got that far.
So I would like to ask the board members, the reason I asked the park commissioners to come is because it's been on my mind for a long time. The closure of the pool has really been problematic for the town. And I knew in talking to Ken and to Josh that it was something that I thought we needed to finally discuss and say, we don't seem to be getting ahead with trying to seek grants. There probably is money out there, but we just don't qualify. We're always like a step behind. We are in good position. Ken, you've been on the finance committee for a long time. For right now, for if we had to go out and borrow the money, I believe we could get this job done a lot sooner if we are willing to take the chance, get a better estimate, get a much better idea of exactly what we want, but to include some of the cost figures so we know where we're gonna be headed and the kind of cost that we'll have to deal with if and when this were to come to fruition. So having said that, any thoughts from the other board members?
Yeah, did everything you said. In addition to that, this was also a place where I learned to swim. And this is very, very important for the kids that are coming along. That hasn't happened yet. So I'm 100% in favor of this. The other thing that's happened is that the number of other places in town where people could swim, they're gone. So the number of sites is severely limited, and I think it's incumbent upon the town to recognize that the youth of our town is important. And that commitment is important, it's expensive, but it's necessary, and I will support this 100%.
No, when it was operational, I mean, we would get upwards of on warm days, we'd get upwards of 100.
Days, we would max out 100 or get up to
You know, and
125%.
that would be day after day when it was warm, and we'd open it up at night when it was hot, so.
And people, I know when I was on recreation and we decided to implement a fee, people were like, oh, you'd be surprised how many people were paying that small nominal amount of money, and they just did it, and then we started the concession stand to help, bring about a little bit more revenue, but to also give, some snacks to kids or whatever. It was a fun place for them to go, and we didn't have to worry about kids swimming in places that were not safe, so to speak. And adult recreation too has become, a really integral part of life here in a small town. Ken, do you have thoughts?
I think definitely this is something we have to look at. I just want to be sure I understand that the estimate we have in front of us, which is $3,249,800, that was from 2 years ago,
Correct.
is what I heard. And it did not include the beach house, the pool, the bathhouse, or the pump house.
No.
So,
What it did include was a splash pad.
right, and I saw that.
If you take that out of it, that was what, 400,000, I think, or close to 500.
Yeah.
Right, but I guess the other question or comment that I have is, the splash pad is in itself unique to itself, so I think I'd like to see us get a cost analysis for having that, where we could, if all of that is suitable, because I see this future as developing into, we could have recreation programs, we could do a lot if we had that particular thing in place.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I don't know how, Josh?
It's an area where you can bring the community together. Kids can get out and get away from the video games. I'm 100% for it, 100%.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
doubt in my mind that this is something that is needed. Again, it will be a common ground to build a community support. And again, hopefully people can get out, talk, and have a good time. So I'm 100% behind this project.
Jack?
I was gonna bring up the splash pad just because this is 25 years ago. I was involved in splash pad construction in Springfield, right behind the YMCA at Chestnut Street. And they had their own unique problems. They had vandalism, people breaking, dumping, breaking glass, throwing it in the pool at night, dumping oil, motor oil in the pool. So they had that pool was closed more than it was open. They put the splash pad in, the kids loved it.
Yeah.
So that was gonna be, you know, my next question to you is I'm thinking the operating cost for a splash pad would be considerably less than for a pool. You don't need, and I know John doesn't agree with me on this because he had such good experience learning how to swim there. But if that, I'm gonna be in favor of no matter what we do, okay? For a couple of reasons. One is that we have the best team that I've ever seen. With people that are so dedicated. You know how I feel about what you guys have done with the pavilion down there, and that's used all the time. What you generally touch turns to gold, as far as I'm concerned. But if a splash pad would take care of it, I don't know what the numbers are, but I would be absolutely in favor of that as well, in lieu of a pool.
Oh, in lieu of a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing as a community and as a board, we've got to figure out, you know, what's the best way to
Yeah.
go, you know? Can we afford both? Can we not? I don't know.
Madam Chair, I would like to put out for next step forward is that we update this evaluation and include the bathhouse and the pump house. But also, to Jack's point, if we can't afford or the timing is not right for us to make all of the investment for the entire project, being able to at least get the splash pad up and running while we work on the second phase of the project might be a good approach. And it's a phased approach, but I think to your point, it shows commitment, and to John, what you said, and Josh, what you said, it is something that will be giving back to the town, bringing the town together, giving families an opportunity to have a place in town to go and cool off on a day. And I think we do have to be mindful of the operating cost and the impact on John and his team of what they can handle, and go into it knowing it's not just putting the pool and upgrading the bathhouse, it's having the infrastructure to support it, which is staff.
Right.
And we got to be mindful of that.
David?
I just want to add that, you know, if you're gonna do this, I swam down there, I think my parents swam down there, again, 1946, I think it was, pool went in the ground. But anyways, if you're gonna go forward to the taxpayers with this, you're gonna have to include every detail. The question would be, does it include removing the old pool? Or is it just the price of the pool? The bathhouse should be demolished. It's a mess. The sill plates are all rotten, but that's not up to me to decide, like John added. ADA compliant bathhouse, water, chemicals, electricity, trained staff. And Nancy, again, you were part of it for years, I believe, when my boys were down there. And you're gonna have to tell the taxpayers the whole price tag. You can't be just, hey, it's 3.8, it's not 3.8, it's probably gonna be like Chicopee, close more to like 11. And you, that doesn't sound like 3.8, but by the time you do all the add-ons and all the labor that goes with it, and I'm not against it, I'm kind of in the middle of the fence, because again, I used it too, and swimming is part of life. You know, it's a life or death thing at times, but it's an 8-week toy. The school gets out, the pool's loaded. College kids go back to college, there goes your lifeguard staff, and then it's time to close the pool. A lot of money for 8 weeks. And again, I'm not against it. I'm just saying, if you're gonna go to the public with this, the taxpayers, let them know the truth. You know, I'm gonna use the word that they used at the school committee meetings, transparency, which is bullshit, but, excuse me, but anyways, tell them the truth. Come up with the right figure.
There's black or white mileage.
There you go.
You already know that.
Okay.
All right. So, Mr. Tweedy?
Madam Chair, two things real quick on this subject. If we're looking at spending, as Dave has said, 11 million, the town didn't
It's
want to
not-
spend.
Before we put that number out.
We-
Well, all right,
No,
theoretical number.
No, before the public grasps on that number,
Right.
it is not that number.
Okay, so let's say.
It might be
the
half of
3
that
point-
number.
3-point-something
There you
million. They didn't want to spend that for a water filtration facility at the time, and, you know, that's, I'm with Dave, I swam down there, not against it at all, but if it's drinking water or swimming water, there's kind of a big variance there. The only other thing I have to say is that if anyone on the board has read the sanitary survey, Barn Street is gonna have to have fencing put in, and if that is part of the water department's property, there may be an issue there.
Madam Chair, again, that's why I think we need to go back and revisit it.
We do. We have one more comment. Dennis?
Well, a couple of comments on comments that two select board members have made. First, Nancy, you were talking about a pool, a splash pad, let's make it bigger, let's make it an attraction. Something you have to think about, it's in a flood zone. You're very restricted as to how big you can make something. That's why we're talking about putting the pool into the footprint of the old pool. Right now, you've only got parking for maybe 12 cars, if you squeeze them in. Most people walk or bike to get to the pool. You want to have 500 people there, you're gonna need buses, because they're not gonna be able to park. I asked the Conservation Committee years ago, because I've been around here for this many years. We want to redo the parking lot, we want to make it bigger, pave the grass area. They said, well, it's in a flood zone, if you do that, you have to recreate a flood zone somewhere else in town to compensate what you've lost in that location, because you're in a flood zone. So that's something you gotta do. It's a very tight space. So before you start talking about these grandiose ideas, how big you wanna make it, realize you're inside of a closet, and there's only so much bedrooms you're gonna be able to add to it. Now, as to Jack's comment, that Springfield was so much worse because they throw glass in the pool and stuff like that, I'll let you know that because I do maintenance at the pool. One year, I took out a whole box full of dishes from the bottom of the pool, because somebody was having fun throwing them in. And they weren't intact when I took them out. I had to clean up all that. We had to drain the pool to get all the glass out. And you won't believe the stuff they throw in the pool. And that was when it was open. Now that it's closed, they throw lifeguard towers in there, they throw tires in there, they throw dead animals in there. There's a lot of stuff going on over there.
Well, good point.
Mr. Higney, you haven't said a word.
Well, I look at it this way, there's a million things you can say against it. What are we gonna say for it, all right? We need it, we really do. As far as putting the swimming pool in, that's where you get your lifeguards from. Yeah, Red Cross swimming lessons, they keep moving up the ranks. And that's where I came from. And that's where my wife came from. And she taught swimming lessons there for a number of years. And I worked there for a number of years. I took soda machines out of the bottom of that swimming pool when it was completely black. Because we used to pump the water in from Pines, and we used to change it every 2 or 3 days and just heave tablets of chlorine into the pool. All right? It's something this town really misses.
So,
And we need it.
so I guess my thought is, do we want to see a subcommittee formed, which is a complement of the park commissioners and a couple members of the select board?
I think that
Do
would
we
be great.
want, huh?
I think that would be great.
That was a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, I don't want to cut off any more discussion, but I get a sense based on what you've heard that we're ready to move forward. And we believe it's something that the town is in need of. And I think it's part of infrastructure, but we have to realize all the costs that and the implications and the implicated costs. So I would ask for a couple volunteers as select board members, and then perhaps between the park commissioners, either one or two of you, but a subcommittee that could start work on gathering the data and all the information that's necessary. My only question to you, Stuart, would be, I don't remember how this study was paid for.
Earmarked from the legislature.
Okay. So we don't have funds right now to
Is there any left in
upgrade
that-
the study,
in that earmark?
or are there some monies left?
There's a small amount of money left that,
Would it be substantial enough to get an update?
it'd be enough to get an update on these costs and probably at least a ballpark on the pump house and the bathhouse. It should be enough for that.
And do you know if there are any monies left from any of the collections or revenues, John?
There's still a pool trust.
There's a pool trust.
I don't have the current.
No, but I'm
number
just
on it.
thinking that if
It's
there
not a
was
lot,
some
it's
funds
not
that.
a lot.
Huh?
It's not a lot in the pool trust.
No, I understand that, but you get regular deposit money, but I just don't know whether or not there is anything that hinders utilizing some of that trust fund money, which is a nominal
right.
amount every year, to help supplant the money that's left
Yeah.
from that grant.
So just fine. There's probably some money, but the next step, at least according to the designer, is this $200,000, do a final design and oversee construction. So if you were going to phase the costs, the next piece you're gonna need is that $200,000.
Right, but I get a sense of, with everyone being supportive of it, we are going to be having a special town meeting also. And I'm just wondering if it warrants placing an article.
Wouldn't the next step be to get a current cost analysis
Yeah.
before
Right.
we would
Yeah.
vote on?
Right.
They're talking about.
But that's what I'm,
That's my yes, the answer is yes.
Right.
But, so my question to you is, or to this new committee, is what pace are you looking for? Are you looking at November or May?
I would think May,
May.
Nancy, just to give everybody
think-
some breathing room.
right, I think there's some work that has
It's,
to be
yeah,
done.
I think it's too
It's a lot of
fast.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Including.
I agree.
So,
I think May would be more appropriate with number turnout too.
Yep.
History has shown that the special meeting
Yeah.
is not that well attended.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can get more support, maybe,
Yeah.
but more of the population of the townspeople would be there. So,
can I have a motion then to at least establish a subcommittee?
so I'll make a motion to establish a subcommittee, moving forward with the Reed Pool improvement
To include,
Second.
to include two select board members, and how many, is
either
it
one or
all?
two.
Well, I'll give them, I don't know if all three of us want to.
I was gonna say,
I don't
all
care
three.
for one.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
fine.
Absolutely
with
be
all,
on it, yeah.
with three, with the Parks
One
Commission,
more,
including,
one
the Park Commissioner himself.
Well, one or all three of us, we'll see how it goes, and then,
Okay, so a 5-member committee,
sure.
John's an auxiliary member, but at
Yep.
least that way you get together and start the work that's necessary. And I'll leave you to supply names to Stuart as to the 2 board members who are interested.
I'd be interested.
All right, Stuart, John's already interested. All right, I have a motion, and do I have a second?
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are
You're
doing a
doing
great
support.
job down there, much appreciated. If I knew you were gonna be here, I would've brought some mints.
So that's very, thanks, Jack, I would have appreciated it.
Right.
All right, the next item is the consent agenda. We have executive session meeting minutes from Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, that were just released. We have July 1st, regular meeting session minutes. We have July 15th, regular meeting session meeting minutes. We have August 6th, regular session meeting minutes. August 19th, regular session meeting minutes, and September 2nd. Need a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item would be under the consent agenda would be 1-day liquor license for Workshop 13 for 2025-33, Workshop 13 for September 27th. Oh, no rain date, it says TBD, okay. From 6 to 10, it's Colorblind Guy Comedy. Do I have a
Move to approve.
motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5, yes. However, we also have another one that needs to come before us, so prior to that, Stuart, may I ask you what the status is under old business of the town hall curtain and the use of the area?
Certainly. The plan for remediation of the curtain was created by a hazardous material engineer and submitted to the DEP. They had comments, but have since approved that. So we need to find a contractor that can do the work. The work involves the area behind the stage to an area approximately 15 to 20 feet in front of the stage being cleaned, and as well as encapsulation of the curtain. I've asked for clarification for what encapsulation means in terms of reuse or just preservation. So I'm gonna say I expect that's at least a month.
So that's why I asked you if you could give us an update, only because this is asking for something within 3 weeks.
Oh, they're asking
That's
to
right.
postpone until December.
Okay, thank you, I was gonna ask you next what. So we can actually remove this from the agenda tonight until we get a clarified date? All right,
Okay.
so we will table the approval of the special event application 2023-24 because we don't have a firm date yet, so, all right. Under scheduled appearances, we're done. We have an appointment request for Historical Commission of Susan Sandridge from Church Street. She would like to serve, and I'm assuming it'll be a 3-year seat because there is a vacancy, correct, Nicole?
Yes.
So to June 30th, 2028, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve Mrs. Sandridge to the Ware Historical Commission for the 3-year term.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Because we just made an appointment to a town commission, I'd like to just take a minute and put a plug in for everybody that's watching tonight. The Finance Committee is currently seeking 2 members. We have 4. We have 4, myself being one, but I would like to step away from that and focus my duties on the board. And I'm going to stay with the Finance Committee until we have my replacement so that we can be sure we maintain quorum and get the business of the Finance Committee done. But for those folks who are watching and have always wondered, how does the town make decisions, and I'm going to speak particularly about the Finance Committee and its role, meeting with the town manager, working on his budget, advising the board, making recommendations in support of warrant articles that go on the town meeting agenda. If you really want to understand the business of the town and what funds the town, the Finance Committee is a great place to do it. If you have an accounting background or you like numbers and spreadsheets, you'll probably like it even more because there's a fair amount of that has to be done, but you don't have to have that. So I really encourage folks that are listening, if you want to get involved, help make Ware a great town, and you want to understand more about the town and contribute to the town, please reach out to Nicole in Stuart's office. Visit our website. It has a list of the other boards and commissions and committees that are looking for members, as well as the application that you can submit to Stuart for the board to review and then process. So please consider helping Ware by joining one of our boards and commissions.
Thank you, Ken. Good. All right. And under old business, Stuart, with regard back to the curtain, did we file for an insurance claim in view of the fact, oh, good. All right, so at least, anyone have questions with regard to the town hall curtain status now that he's given that update? No? Nope. All right, so the policy for review of possible adoption pertaining to campaign and political signs on town property, I need a motion to table again because we did not get what I needed from KP Law.
I'll make a motion to table the policy for review and adoption pertaining to campaign and political signs on town property till a later date.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then I asked to have this on Mary Lane Hospital update. You now have a copy of the audit report that we sought. to receive. We have a question with regard to plaques and the hospital review committee meeting minutes. Stuart, do you want to give an update on the plaques?
As presented at the last meeting, they were discussed, which was several meetings ago. I said I would deliver them to the meeting house the next day. I did. There they are.
And the meeting minutes have also been placed on the website.
The 3 dates that were absent have been completed. Thanks Mrs. Talbot's help and Elena Palladino for their notes, so those are posted.
So the next step too, I know this is Jewish holiday upcoming week, but I think we need to just get in touch with Dr. Trace, because I know he wanted to have the committee meet one more time to approve those minutes and ask the select board to dissolve, so maybe we could think about something in early October. Can we just take a minute though with regard to the audit report? It was given. I worked with Mike Napick, the regional, I can never remember his long title, but he said that this is what Bay State felt that they wanted released after their board of trustees and the financial division read. It pretty clearly indicates that Bay State did nothing wrong, that they followed the terms of the will. And I know that Stuart, Dr. Tracy and I are meeting on October 3rd, and I told him that after we shared this with the board members, that I would be following up and asking the question of Peter Banko, who's the Chief Administrative Officer for Bay State, for a little bit more analysis and, if possible, probably a much more in-depth report. And he said he would mention it to Mr. Banko, but he was not sure as to whether or not anything further would be coming.
Well, I guess my only thoughts were, this has been highly controversial. I think if we just hold everything in abeyance, I certainly would appreciate people that have concerns, bring these concerns to the board. If there are thoughts that things need to be included, perhaps they can be included in this analysis. Again, being transparent, getting this thing open, I want to make sure everybody that has a concern has an opportunity to speak on it before a decision is made.
I will post this to the hospital review committee page.
I was going to just ask you too.
Yeah.
Or someplace on the townwide website. I mean, even if it's under news and notices, how's that?
No, everything on the hospital is
Then
on
it
the
should be
hospital
under the
committee.
hospital
I can put it in
page.
both. It's easy to put it in both, but,
Okay, all right.
Madam Chair.
When you meet with the Bay State, and I don't know what other board members' recollection might be, but I kind of remember Bay State acknowledging that they were doing the audit and they would share the data, and I seem to remember there was conversation about a detailed audit and not a summary. What we have in front of us is more of a summary, and I appreciate it may satisfy their needs, but my recollection is there was conversation, and I can't remember who exactly might have said it, but certainly that the more complete the data is that we can be and share with our town as we go through this challenge of navigating the new future of healthcare and where, I think is an expectation on the part of the town. And I like that term, John, it's critical in our ability as a board, and I believe that, and again, I don't have it directly in front of me, that I don't want to call it an assurance, but that acknowledgement that a detailed analysis wouldn't be available was made to the board.
Yeah.
And if it's not made available to the board,
Why not?
I don't think that, it doesn't look right. And I think we as a board have to reassert
Right.
that, wait a minute, on behalf of our citizenry, you made this, we accepted it, and let's have it.
Right, well, that's why I stated what I
Yeah.
did, but I know my conversation with Mr. Napick was limited, and he has limited
Yeah.
ability to say much further. But Stuart and I, Dr. Tracy will be meeting, and we'll be asking for something much more detailed. There should be no holding back, and I told him that, so,
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
appear to be any reason why, I mean,
Right,
okay?
you should have that information anyway.
yeah.
All right. And update on vacant positions. Okay, sorry. I thought it said vacant property. I'm so used to seeing that. Go ahead, Stuart.
So we still have a few positions remaining. After the discussion at the last meeting, the HR office and I posted water and sewer operations managers in conjunction with bumping the range on the DPW director. Those are posted. We have had one response on an operation manager, which is actually very good, with some flexibility. So that's been up for about a week. We'll see what it produces. In terms of other positions, the town just made an offer that was accepted for the parks laborer position. So they'll be starting in a couple weeks. And I think that's,
Did you have a truck driver too?
we do have a CDL driver. We're becoming more flexible with what the area we're looking for, and hopefully we'll fill that soon.
Okay.
Did we have something held over on a fire department
Yes.
appointment?
Yes, and it held to go over again, but by next meeting, they're waiting for physical PATs to be done, but by the next
chief-
meeting, that appointment will be ready.
Yeah, the chief thought at least by the next meeting, or the latest, to meet the second meeting in October.
And that'll, for what's planned and budgeted, that will fully staff the fire department.
Stuart, what was the range for salary for the operator for the wastewater water?
105 to 115, I believe.
And what about the DPW director?
125 to 145.
Good.
Anything further?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
after your last meeting, you had, Josh had proposed upping the salary for the DPW director. As a taxpayer and resident, I feel that that's a good idea. We definitely need somebody that can handle that position, and if we're not getting it at what we've been posted now for a few months here, then we should probably really think about, upping that price for that position. In regards to that, I have with me the operations manual for the wastewater. There is an organizational structure in here, and as we are currently staffed, we are non-compliant with our discharge permit due to the fact that this was approved by the EPA in conjunction with the discharge permit for the wastewater facility. One other thing, adding to that, as far as the charter review committee goes, they've removed some of the wording for the DPW director's position. It hasn't really changed the job posts that are out there at this point right now, but it does say preferred quite often. I'd just like the board to know that a degree in civil engineering for this position with possibly a higher paying salary base would alleviate having to send reports that are now being done by Ty and Bond at roughly about $13,000 per report. We had 2 of them done a couple years ago. We had 5 of them done this year. So looking at the monies that we are spending on sending reports out to engineering firms versus a $5,000 increase maybe on a salary for one individual seems to outweigh an $80,000 price tag over the past 3 years.
Okay.
Okay? One other thing I did have is that the Charter Review Committee has, as I stated, made some of these changes to the director's position, taking away the educational qualifications and leaving that. I believe Josh will say that the same thing, that they're going on skill and ability and relying on job descriptions. I have 3 job descriptions here from the past 3 years, all of them which are different. One of them is probably the closest that you're gonna get to the actual job requirements for the DPW director. Anyone want to choose which one that might be? I can tell you which one it is. And I think that as a board, we should be following the one that is most proper, that goes along with the DPW job responsibilities. And if we have 3 different ones from the past 3 years, then why are they all 3 different for the same job?
Stuart?
So, because we're trying to fill a position. So they're different because they added flexibility. About the prime one is about education. It is preferred, especially if you're going to offer a higher salary, it is much more preferred that they have a degree, whether it's civil or environmental engineering. Completely agree. You're going to have a better qualified person to do the reports Jeff's talking about. But that's why they've changed. The job description, whether you want to just hold up 3 or 5, the job description that exists is the one that's on the street. So,
Okay.
and that's,
So all I'm asking, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
go ahead, Jeff.
I'm just saying that I hope the board, when we've had 2 past directors that were qualified, I feel, to a certain degree, but not qualified 100% for what they were doing. They may have had water experience, but they did not have wastewater experience. This job requires both, and if we're gonna hire a candidate, if we have to up the money, then I feel that it's important to do that, to get the proper person in the job, so we're not sending documents out to be basically cut and paste with a different date on them to update our stuff, when in-house that could be done and save money on the back end. So I'm just asking, when the board does go to make a final, acceptance of a candidate, that they just realize that there's a lot of information that can be used, and there's a lot of information that is, as Stuart said, been changed to try to fill the position, but it's not doing what we really need to do as far as for the workers at the water and wastewater.
Okay. Thank you.
Is the.
One more, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, no?
The last thing I had is GAP 4 grant. Any word on the GAP 4 grant?
Did Dave apply for one?
I don't think that's Dave's thing, but it's not for the wastewater, Stuart. So we have our grant writer. Does he go out and research grants?
Yes, but it helps for him to have
A little heads up?
topics.
Okay, so
I don't know.
we are just lowly wastewater guys, but we found the grant, and it would help for the water department for their high lift pumps, but the grant writer will have to do his part of it.
So, Jeff, can I suggest that maybe you or Dave
He
have
just
set up an
declined.
appointment? I'm sorry, Stuart?
He just declined that, in case you missed it.
Oh.
He suggested it was Jay's job,
Oh,
so, which it is, but,
okay.
but Dave has gotten a GAP 4 grant in the past, so.
GAP 3.
Okay.
Different process for different things, but it is both for water and sewer, but in this case, it would help for the high lift pumps that might be needed for the new wells that will be at the well field.
Okay, then Stuart and the grant writer will chat. Do you have a comment or question?
Well, I was just ask Jeff to send what information they've compiled on the GAP 4 grant to Stuart. As Stuart said, Jay does write for the town, but sometimes he needs assistance with the topics. Wastewater and water, I'm sure, is not his specialty, and he's looking in diverse areas, so I think when you have information like that, Jeff, certainly send it to Stuart and let Stuart work with Jay, and I'm sure they'll be coming back looking for the technical information that you have access to describe the needs of the system, and whatnot. And
This would be on the water end, so it really doesn't have anything to do with us.
Right,
We're,
but I
I'm using
think
as an
what Ken's
example.
saying, he's
Yes, I
using
hear
an
what you're
example,
saying. Yeah.
when someone comes or knows of something, it's nice to share knowing that the beneficiary will be the town in
Yeah.
the long run.
Applaud you for finding something that applies to water and not wastewater,
Yeah.
and then making Stuart aware of it so we can follow up. Thank you for that.
just doing our due diligence.
All right.
Are we gonna, Madam Chair, are we gonna come back to comments and
Yeah,
concerns?
that was my question, maybe I missed it.
No, we didn't do it yet.
Okay.
So, why
That
don't
was it.
we, Stuart, you done with the update on the vacant positions?
Yes.
All right, let's do comments and concerns.
Okay, I'm gonna jump on Mr. Desmond's bandwagon here. He started out with people's property fronts and all that. I'm gonna do it for the whole town. If you all took a clipboard and a blank piece of paper and drove all around the town's streets, back roads, write down every time you find something. Mattresses, box springs, chairs, TVs, gas bottle cylinders, you name it, it's out there. Nip bottles, whatever. This town's a mess. And I've been here since I've been born, kind of proud of staying here, but it's a mess. And if you have people, I'm gonna use my boys for instance, that don't live here anymore, but when they come back, they go, what in the hell is going on over and where? Because it's a mess. It is a mess. And then I think of when we were kids, the signs, the town that can't be licked. Well, I just looked that up on the computer not that long ago, and nationally known. And it was about the mills and taking over all that stuff. And now we have these signs that say, somewhere worth seeing. Well, when you drive across, say, the Swift River Bridge, and then you look to your right, and I'm not gonna, you know where I am or anywhere else, it's not somewhere worth seeing anymore. It's a mess. And the pride, as far as cleaning your property, is gone. Something's gotta be done about it, because it's continuous. I used to live on West Main Street, look across the road, it's off the sidewalk, but it looks like a tag sale over there of furniture. Everything's free now. If you don't wanna throw it away, just put a free sign on it, and then some idiot will come along and pick it up, and if they don't pick it up, then the town's gonna pick it up. I don't know how you force this, but, same thing at Grenville Park. You got two 20-pound gas cylinders thrown in the swamp before you go up the S's, and then last Monday, there's a widescreen TV down there. I don't know why, but it's the times, and it's not good. So, Mr. Desmond, I guess I'm jumping on your bandwagon, because it's a mess. It's a shame, you hate to see it, but, would people out there just kind of suck up the pride and clean their property?
Very good.
I know they do it in Feeding Hills. You're responsible, you're responsible for your frontage. You got trash, you got grass, they're coming after you.
Thank you, David.
Very good, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna get out of here, but it's getting to the point where, where it's bothered. Was it months ago, when you going up North Street, just beyond All Saints Church, and there was this big box that leaned there forever. It looked like that movie Unforgiven, Ned's Coffin, now there's a mattress there.
Yeah.
I know I'm venting, but I think I'm
No,
venting in the right
The
direction.
community has changed, towns around us have changed. It's not just where, I'm not making excuses, but life as we knew it, we need to come back. The pendulum hopefully is gonna swing pretty soon.
We had a couch dumped over the guardrail onto our property, down the embankment. It took us 3 hours to get the couch out.
Again, something's gotta be done. But anyways, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
David. Jeff, did you have anything else?
One last thing to add to Mr. Cassio, when he was speaking earlier in regards to the Buckley Court and the dikes being mowed, I believe you were referring back to the Army Corps of Engineers, audit, let's say, inspection. There was 3 non-compliance with that inspection. One of them was the dike that runs along West Street in the Ware River from Buckley Court. The other one was the concrete pipe that needs to be filled in between the Pines area and the Barn Street pump station. And the other one was vegetation in the floodplain on Vernon Street. Those were non-compliance per their inspection that they did.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Under new business, we have 3 requests for sewer abatements. So we have a memo, these are from the guidelines, Stuart, from the,
So, as we were researching and doing the math for those, we found this policy that, of how to do abatements that former DPW Director Tom Martens had created, and the board had accepted as policy. So it goes beyond the form that you've seen most often in terms of this form, the application for sewer abatement.
right,
In that it breaks it down into whether it was a pipe break, whether it's just a minor break, or whether it's filling a pool, for example, and whether or not it has access. So using this memo, Nicole and I did the math on each one of these, and which each have a different story, and therefore,
so these sheets here are from you and Nicole versus what we were originally given.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I
yes,
thought.
yes. So, and those just show the math of what, with a couple of options in some cases of how an abatement might be prepared. So, for example, if we want to go in order, Aspen Street had a pipe burst, so the increase is due to a pipe. The process looks at what was the increase in the water lost and the cost, and taking half of that, coming up with proposed abatement. And if it's just, so we looked at it for the water, and then we looked at it for the sewer. So if you look at number 11, this is, abnormally high consumption due to accidental or unpredictable leakage. Do half the water consumption above normal, so that's what Nicole's numbers are here. So,
So even these are hard to read, I know on my eyes are
yep,
tired.
no,
but looking at the one for 69 Aspen Street, Bill History, pipe burst, 50%, I can't even read what that says. Abatement allowed, okay,
You might have a lighter copy compared to the other
oh my God.
board members.
so if it's
I
a
can read
full,
it.
if it's a full 50% of everything, you're looking at $1,283. If it's just the sewer, you're looking at $730.
That's what I thought the bottom line was $730.59.
That's the amount we do, the abatement amount would be the $583.38.
583.38.
$583.38.
Yes.
And then the $730.59 is the amount due.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Right here.
Okay.
She handed us tonight
You know, why do we get this tonight?
because
You know.
they worked on it last night. Let me just pull it for you.
I know.
Because we bent over backwards to get it done for you
I don't
tonight,
appreciate you.
Mr. Desmond.
Okay.
I understand your frustration, I do. So if you'd rather table it, I don't
I
think
was
it
just gonna
affects
say-
anything.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's too many of them, and you can ask for actually making these copies a little bit darker. So,
Yeah.
but if we could, Madam Chair, just while Nicole
I-
and Stuart are here on this form. So looking at 69 Aspen Street and applying what's in that policy that Tom Martinez did under the pipe burst category, 50%. So option A is the billed charges, and you list those, and then you have an abatement request of $1,052.90. Is that what the property owner is requesting?
Yes,
Okay,
and then you would take that from the bill that they're asking to be abated, the $2,336, and you subtract that abatement amount. That amount due on that bill would be $1,283.38.
so for the next meeting, maybe put it in a
Oh,
memo
absolutely.
format.
Yes.
This is good backup, but clearly state in a memo.
So when you guys schedule your water and sewer commission,
That's what,
I would like to redo this form.
sure.
yes, that's gonna be one of the things on there. So
It's a
we will
perfect job
take
for it.
this up until we've had that meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Because then we'll
So
be able to focus on it and
All right,
not
so I'm going to
Yeah.
put my paperclip back on all of this, and we're gonna do a memo that clearly defines what it is that we feel could be abated if the board were so to approve it. So may I have a motion to table all of these until
I'll make a
after
motion
the water
to
and sewer
table
commissioner meeting takes
all
place?
of the sewer abatements that were scheduled for tonight until after the Water and Sewer Commission meeting has been scheduled and held.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so let's skip down under new business to schedule the water and sewer commissioner meeting. The suggested dates are either October 14th or the 21st. I suggested 5, however, I don't know if you're available at 5 o'clock. That was our concern.
That's, yeah, I'm probably gonna smell like sewer, but sure.
I don't care.
What day
All right, so either a Tuesday, October 14th, or Tuesday, the 21st at 5 o'clock.
Switch seats?
And, what?
Want to switch seats?
Why?
Do I smell like
Smell like
sewer?
Oh!
It's gonna
Oh,
cost.
So the only-
and on the agenda, we are gonna be reviewing the water study, rates and projects, including now this abatement policy and form,
I don't go to work dressed like this, just so everybody knows.
And the water quality.
and the water quality report, correct. So which date is better for anybody, so I can, oh. what?
Ann, do you have a question on this topic?
Yes, I do, just quickly, thank you. Regarding the Mary Lane audit, was that, only encompassing the Gilbert Trust? Is that my understanding correct on that?
Yes.
Yes,
And will that, what you did receive from them, will that be made publicly available, or can residents request a copy of that?
nope, it's gonna be up on the hospital review webpage of the town of Ware website.
Excellent, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I didn't know you were there. I apologize.
All good, it's okay.
All right. So Tuesday, the 14th, or Tuesday, the 21st, which is your choice?
21st.
21st of
Yep.
October?
Yeah.
Okay,
21st.
all right. So can I have a motion to schedule that meeting on the 21st at 5?
So moved.
Go ahead.
That
Move
was-
that we have a water and wastewater commissioner meeting on October the 21st at 5 PM.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
And are the items you just tabled to be at that meeting now? Beautiful.
Yes. It'll be easier.
Ken, that was water sewer.
Yes.
Water and wastewater,
Water
yeah.
and wastewater.
New and used.
Madam Chair, quick question, is that gonna be open to the public?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's a public meeting.
I would hope that
Just
you, Dave, and you guys would actually be able to attend. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we
The
are.
more input,
Correct. As you know, wastewater in general is very specific to the ins and outs of running a treatment plant. And the more knowledge that we have as a board, the better off we can take and look at something. And then we will start scheduling these where these are going to be on a more regular basis from here on out.
Sure.
So we can start to have these conversations, so when questions come up.
we used to have them like 4 times a year.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes back down to, is either triannually or go quarterly, whatever.
All right.
I find that sometimes you ask a question, you get an answer, and you sometimes get sidetracked as far as maybe there should be a follow-up question. I kind of got caught up in that myself earlier. I was wondering if the board tonight, reverting back to my increase in the director's salary, would someone be willing to make a motion to increase it another 5,000 tonight and get the ball rolling a little bit faster, maybe?
No, I don't think we need to, because we had already voted previously to raise it up to $145,000.
But that was last year, though.
Jeff?
No.
No, that was
It was just-
135. Josh at the last meeting
At the last
suggested
meeting, after a
150.
suggestion,
Yeah.
right.
So,
But it's been at 145 for quite some time now. Since, I believe when Dennis left, the posting was listed
No, it was
up to.
posted as a lesser amount,
Yeah,
correct?
120.
Dennis
But I
was
believe
130.
last year,
130.
when it was asked to be raised, it was asked to be raised last year up to 145.
but we hire at 135.
But you hired at 135, that's correct. But, so my point being is that last year, you made the recommendation up to 145. We did get a candidate that did accept for 135, but now we are struggling at this point at 145 to find a candidate. It doesn't say that we have to pay it, but maybe we will get a bigger pool of people that might be willing to.
I think we're gonna stay right where we are, Jeff. Thank you.
Fair enough.
All right, the next item with regard to new business is reimbursement audit report, recommendations and implementation. We have a memo from the town manager. It says attached are the conclusions and subsequent recommendations from the audit conducted of town hall employee reimbursement completed earlier this year. To date, the town has established petty cash account controls in prior years. Effectively, petty cash accounts have been eliminated with the exception of the police account mentioned in the first recommendation. Employees submit their own reimbursement request through their respective supervisor. The town accountant's office strongly requires documentation for all reimbursements, particularly the invoices and receipts. The chair of the select board shall sign off on requests for reimbursements from the town manager. And the conclusions from the audit report were attached. Do the board members have comments or questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Is there any document, when, there was no documentation for 3 of these, right?
What do you mean? What documentation would you get?
Where are you trying to?
Yeah.
There is a form that we need to submit if you have expended monies.
I see what we can.
But there were expenditures, am I correct that there were reimbursements given without documentation?
That's what they found.
That's
what they found, I believe, is
Well, okay, what happened to those people that got money without reimbursement?
We don't have the details.
So they just,
Yes,
that just goes by the wayside?
there you go.
Huh?
I think what John's trying to say is.
I know what John's trying to say, I just don't have the information to follow up. I can ask them for it, but, and what year it occurred. This was a 5-6 year audit.
But going
That-
forward,
that's a
that
good
all
point.
documentations are fully required before approval of the reimbursement, correct? Going
Yes.
forward?
Yeah.
So
Okay, so we eat what,
I would say, if it, let's say it is 5 years old, we're gonna eat it regardless. I would say as long as that we hold strict policy to that going forward, then,
okay, all right, I have no problem with that, as long
Yeah.
as we understand that they beat us on it.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, no. Doesn't, just means that piece of information's missing.
You don't know, is what I'm saying.
Doubt we don't know, but
Okay.
a piece of
All right.
information, yes.
So is it correct, Stuart, that the period that was actually reviewed by the auditor was fiscal year 2015 to 2019?
Correct.
So what we're looking at is something that happened,
Oh, I understand.
so,
Yeah.
but under page, on this, the first page of the accountant's report, under recommendations, the enhanced oversight for the police department drug buy, the petty cash account controls, document required for reimbursement, electronic submission of reimbursement, independent review of the town manager's reimbursement. Are we acting on all of those, Stuart?
We will, yes, the exception is, if you wish to reinvigorate the, discussion about the police drug petty
If you're
cash.
gonna have that discussion now, I gotta step outside.
Oh, you can't have that discussion now, you need a treasurer and a police chief to have that
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
So at some point, that should be revisited. It would, the board did have a meeting with it 4 or 5 years ago.
Can we put it on an agenda for a future meeting to
Yep.
discuss?
Yep.
Because if I understand correctly, Stuart, in your cover memo, you addressed the town taking corrective action, if you will, based on the auditor's reports on all but this one issue of the police department drug by account.
Yes, sir.
So, okay.
Any other questions on the audit report reimbursement? No? Okay. Then, the next thing is, we've already scheduled the water and sewer rate. We need to talk about special town meeting. Stuart and I came up with a guideline or a date. He's suggesting November 17th at 6:30 PM. Deadline to submit warrant articles to the town manager would be Wednesday, October 15th, so he can assimilate them and prepare the warrant. The selectmen would approve their warrant at Tuesday, October 21st, regular session meeting. The last date to post the warrant, I just threw that in there as always, 14 days in advance, would be Monday, November 3rd. And then we would have a joint meeting with the moderator, finance committee, and ourselves on Tuesday, November 4th, prior to the actual meeting taking place at Ware High School. Anyone have questions?
Move to approve?
Sure, that would be wonderful.
And second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So now I can ask for permission to use the school. All right. And then status of operations for ABCC license held by Aspen Street Rod and Gun Club. I've been kind of following this. I was made privy to the fact that the club itself has closed to the public. They still hold the license that was awarded to them. They paid for it by the select board for the entire year. I believe it's all alcoholic, Nicole? All alcohol? Okay, but I've been talking to ABCC, because they're closed, they're sitting on a license, we really should ask them to come in and hold a hearing so that we can find out what the status of their license is and what they plan on doing as far as utilizing that license. So I need a motion to approve us setting a hearing date, and so that notice can go out to them, to have them here, so that we can have a hearing with them and find out what their plans are.
Going forward in the future with the license.
Correct.
Do we want to set a date and then we'll make the motion for it?
We can do it for the next meeting, which will be October, just because we have to give proper notice, that's all.
Okay.
Okay?
So you check the calendar for
Yep. Because everything was going to be, if we did it last time, so the board meeting would be, the board itself, the Aspen Street Rod and Gun Club, were supposed to have a meeting of their board officers on September 14th. I'm assuming they had that, but it's up to us now to, call them in and have a hearing with them. Nicole?
Do it October.
I think she's looking to see.
Yeah, that's fine.
What's fine?
I was checking the legal ad notices.
Okay, it's like, what's fine? Okay, clearly, I don't know that we have to do any advertising. I think we just clearly have to send my notes are after talking to ABC is, we just need.
You have to hold a hearing though, so you have to public advertise.
Okay,
So we'd set this meeting for October 7th?
October 7th is fine.
Okay. At 6:45?
sure.
All right, so I'll make a motion to schedule a hearing to talk about the status operations for an ABCC license that is held by Aspen Street Rod and Gun Club for October 7th at 6:45 PM.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And then town manager evaluation, that's yours.
Yep.
So I can sit for that, I just can't participate, but or I can
No.
actually leave the room.
Sit. All right. So we will start the process. I forgot mine at home. It is to establish the goals for Stuart as our first step in doing so. Stuart, did you have any goals that you would like to process and review with us prior to anybody else giving their?
So I did wanna, so the answer is yes. I put down some thoughts if they are helpful to the discussion. But if you have others in mind, I don't wanna throw.
No, but I want to make sure this is a collaborative thing where you may be having something in mind that we're not aware of, and vice versa for you to us. Thank you.
And the goal, the intent was to have 3 to 5, but these are some from past years and present time.
Okay. So we have staff provide training for department heads and update staff initial goals and evaluations. Meet more regularly and individually with all department heads. Provide direction and feedback, highlight achievements at Board of Selectmen's meeting. Post department goals, projects, and progress on town website to enable citizens to track. Continue efficiency reviews on town departments, including practices and cost savings. I really like that. For a finance side of a goal, we have incorporated a 10-year capital improvement program and budget into clear gov software. Update 5-year finance model, determine funding capability and sources for upcoming large items. Projects, establish a recycling program for residents, including a drop-off center. Continue progress on infrastructure projects and planning. Update emergency management plans and preparations, and then time management and communication. Does anyone have anything? I like the first one, and the fourth one is one I was going to talk about with, and what I would like to have done, just so we're clear on where we are on that, especially with communications. Does the board have any thoughts, opinions? Do you want to share your own? Now is the time.
Well, one thought is that I think very often when we have projects and ideals, Stuart very often does not lead the project. I think we are lay people and Stuart is the technical person. And very often when we have discussions, Stuart is not actively involved with these discussions, but rather listening to what the board is saying. That's one of the things that I've seen very often that he does. I'd like to see him more aggressively making a presentation to the board as he sees it as a town manager, of what options are available, what he could be doing, what you could not be doing. For example, even the town pool that we're talking about today, what would your role be as town manager looking at that? That's important. Those are the things that I would like to see you taking a more aggressive position on activities that are before us.
Agreed. Okay.
Okay.
So we can have that as a goal then, and there that Stuart provides.
Yeah, I mean, give us directions and guidance on option A, B, C, and D, and then a recommendation. But I think it's good, it's very important, that we have a full and balanced picture, and that's what he's trained to do. We're lay people, well-intended, but he's the guy we go to.
Yep.
The personal concern, but Stuart and I have been doing this for a while, is I give Stuart a list of questions that I have and concerns that I have, and they're specific, fairly specific, and he gets back to me and lets me know what he has accomplished, just the status. He gives me a status report, if you want to call it that, on the individual things that I've asked him, to do or got his feedback on.
Right. Ken, do you have anything?
Well, I'll focus on the finance piece first, because
Okay.
just coming off the finance committee, I think what Stuart's proposing here is what we definitely need. We, as a select board, it's my recommendation that we have visibility on the 10-year capital improvement plan to know what's coming, but also this 5-year financial forecast that's going to show what are the trends, what's the expectations, because that helps us understand what may be coming in the next fiscal year. And then as we're talking about things about the pool and about other needed infrastructure improvements, to try and say, what year might that be reasonable? So when we're talking with the public, and they're asking, when are we gonna fix this, when are we gonna clean our streets, when are we gonna do this? To say we don't know, because we don't know what the budget is, we don't know where the money is, we have to identify what the trends are. And if we see a window of opportunity to commit some money to a project in an organized manner and address the needs of the town, I think that's very much needed. So I think that right there is a great goal. The establishing a recycling program for residents, I think that would be a real benefit to the town. And we have resource waste here, if they can be part of it. But, you know, we talked about the pool, and it's a quality of life issue for many people. These other intangible type of things. It's not like providing police services, fire services, water and sewer. It's providing something that talks to the quality of life that people have, being able to go to the park, being able to swim, having a place to put their recycling and their trash. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Continue the progress on the infrastructure projects and planning, I'm very concerned in that one area. Especially when we look at the enterprise accounts and the discussion we're having about how are we gonna have that activity supervised. And as was noted, there are some requirements that are in existing O&M manuals of what needs to be done in a chain of command. And I think my suggestion to Stuart would be, this is an area where more long-range planning needs to be done, and I would turn to Stuart as the day-to-day operations manager and the financial manager of the town to engage with his staff to come up with a plan to address that. If we do get a public works director that has the qualifications, fantastic. If we don't, and we have to utilize the operations maintenance positions in both water and wastewater, what does that mean elsewhere within those departments? What else does it mean for delivering operations to the town? What does it mean for Stuart's capacity to manage that? Whereas before he might have had one person he could go to, now he's got to go to three. A highway foreman, a wastewater operations supervisor, and a water operations supervisor. So what's that doing to his ability to maintain his job? That concerns me, that Stuart's getting spread thin. He is attentive to many details, but not all of them are being paid attention to. And I think some of that is just due to the amount of things he's trying to accomplish on behalf of the town. But in particular, in that area there, it concerns me. So I would advocate for a goal that talks about looking at, and we could pick, I mentioned the wastewater and water, because I think as we're hearing a lot of information that needs to be digested, and we have to think about long-range planning on how we're going to do that. And as John said, turning to Stuart as the technical day-to-day manager, giving us some input and a thought about what a plan might look like. So those are areas that I think on the personal, the time management and the communication, I think Stuart's aware of that. I don't think that's anything he's unaware of, but I do think it's becoming more critical that as we look at all these projects, as we face the challenges of the board and trying to move forward with so many things coming at the horizon to be addressed and to be done, Stuart's going to have to be really effective at managing his time and communicating to the community, to the board, to the staff, what the direction is. So I think those are going to be critical things that need to be looked at.
So what does what do we expect Stuart to do less of to be able to do more in this area, to be able to do more in perhaps a more strategic area?
I think that's up to him to tell us. I don't think it's up to us to tell him. I think the goal would be for him to identify how he's going to manage his time with the influx of activity that we're coming and utilize his staff. And whether it's to delegate or work, collaborate, whatever the term is, but to commit to that as a goal and then to prepare a plan and implement it, is my observation.
Yeah.
Because I have basically, with what you've given, is under your personal, the time management and communication, I have an arrow just drawn up to the staff, but Ken hit it on the, I think that you are spread thin. I think that you do have an enormous amount of pride and care for the town of Ware. But I think that without the proper staff and everything else that's just not there right now, it leaves you somewhat vulnerable to not be able to focus on every single thing that you should actually be doing. Yes, your time restraints and everything else are there. However, getting this staff up to speed is going to play an intricate part into getting you to do what your job is, just the oversee the project manager of the town. I think making sure that I think that you do a great job communicating with the department heads. I've heard from several department heads that you do. You're pretty clear and open on what you're looking for in aspects. I don't get too much involved into when you're providing direction because it's not my job to do that. That's your job. I think trying to set up post-department goals, I think that should be left more to the department heads. I think you should have a goal for the department, but let them set up their own goals like we are with you. This way, anytime that you have that ability to, oversee their goals. And the other thing, and I don't know much on if it's getting worse or if it's the same or if it's ever better, is that if people want to meet with you, they should have to have a schedule for you where, if somebody comes in, they just don't walk into your office and sit and have a conversation, that they have an appointment with you. I don't know if that's something that you are looking at doing. Is that?
It's been a past goal, and just to clarify, when you say people, do you mean public?
Public.
Department heads, everybody?
I would like to say with public to start with. Department heads, depending on what is it about? Is there an emergency? Obviously, you have to have that conversation. If there's an emergency happening right now, if a pump is failing and, Dave tells Jeff to get down here and let you know for whatever reason, that's different. But I'm talking about general public walking in and sitting down and saying, "Hey, Stuart, how are you?" And then it turns into a bigger conversation than that. It's nice to have that open communication, but at the same time, I think without being rude, it also disrupts you. And I think that if there's a clear policy that if somebody wants to, your schedule will make the time whether that they can meet with you on that day. And if they can't work for their time, well, that's just what it is. It's your time to be here. But that's how that's how I look at it with the time management, and then just overseeing your department and just having the department heads give an update, you providing feedback, whether you're doing it in a group setting or individually, whether bi-weekly, whatever you feel is acceptable, that's on you. But just to have that open communication, or even if it's an email or whatever it is, just so that you know what they're doing, what are they setting up for their goals for the quarter, for 6 months, for a year. Let them provide that feedback to you. I mean, does that seem as an overreach on our part, or?
I view the conversation I have with Stuart now more about my view as a select board member and how he supports us and where we might want to be going. And it's getting that balance. I think we all acknowledge the town has some things that we have to address, but there's also some things we want to challenge ourselves to try and achieve. And it's going to take the ability of the town to go from just managing the day-to-day operations, and I think you used the term, Jack, to be strategic. and to thinking about strategically, how do we want to get there? And it's going to be work, and we're going to have to manage our resources effectively. And I think that's one of the challenges that we're going to face. If I could, Josh, I'd like to ask Stuart. Stuart, what do you need from the board to be successful? That either you're getting now or you're not getting and you would like?
Well, one, this feedback is great, so, thank you. Specific goals are fine. And one thing the board has not done, we've been, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in the time I've been here through goals for me, and some get done and some get improved, and some have, like, the recycling plan's been there for 11 years on my goals list. But one thing I don't think we've ever done in my time is set goals for the board. Like, what are your priorities for a year or for 5 years? And I recognize on this list there's some tools that you need in order to do that. But I think that would be helpful for you to take time to think about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's only fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a challenge, I just think it
No,
would
but
help
it's-
the board.
But it's a
Drive what we're
collaboration
doing.
between us and you as well.
It gives guidance and direction.
Correct. And what we're looking to do, and then how can he help what we see as residents, as a board, where he should go with the direction of something. So I think it's a fair ask on your behalf.
Yeah. This year, in particular, just before this meeting, we had a finance committee meeting. This opportunity's been given in the past, and the finance committee would like to have a meeting, actually it might be October 21st, between this board, the school committee, and the finance committee to talk about priorities. And we've had that opportunity, offered that opportunity in past years, but to actually put some thought into either what programs, what priorities, what funding, and it can be a grants scheme, like, we want to have this level of success for our school system. We want to have this level of quality in the parks. We want a pool. We want to address X miles of roads. I mean, part of those are departmental decisions, but there is so much, and for the board to give guidance as to what priorities you would like to frame the budget would be useful to the finance committee and to me, and to the school committee for that matter. So participating in that discussion would be quite helpful.
All right. So what we want to, tonight we want to establish the goals and what we're going to do so we can move down our timeline to our next meeting. So tonight, let's set up, John, you have one. I think you have it with the projects on, if that's something that you think has been on the plate for 11 years to establish a recycling program for residents, then you seem pretty passionate. Let's put that onto a goal.
Yeah, if you look at the programs that Hardwick and Warren have, which are pretty all-encompassing, it may help address Dave's issue that he's bringing up. If there's a place to take the things that people are throwing in the swamps.
Rather than putting it in the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's quality of life.
So it may address multiple issues.
Okay. And then we can do the finance, we can look at having you set up and incorporate a 10-year capital improvement plan. Or at least update the 5-year finance model.
Yeah.
Maybe that we can do that to start.
Those are both doable, I think.
Yep.
Because they're already there, they just need to be updated. Josh, can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
If you're comfortable, how about you and I take the comments from tonight's meeting and draft the goals.
Okay.
And then we can bring them back to the board and Stuart, and see if that makes sense. We've had a great conversation, but trying to formulate those into something that's clear and actionable is the next step. And I don't, with all due respect to all of us, I don't think we can do it right here. We kind of need to
Yeah.
wordsmith it and organize it so it makes, it communicates to those who read it what our intentions and Stuart's intentions are.
Yeah. We'd try to fast track that
Yep.
somewhat though, just,
Yep.
because we want to make sure for the next meeting,
Mhm.
we can go to the next step, which
Okay.
is technically step 3. We're jumping 1, but that's how it's written for us.
All right.
And, you know, kudos to all of us here. I've been here for 4 years and we have gloriously failed this part of our duties for Stuart in giving tasks and an evaluation. I filled them out twice, but other board members chose not to do it. And it's not fair to the residents, it's not fair to Mr. Beckley that he didn't get the evaluations done.
So that being said, Josh, well, we work on the goals, but we also have, the attorney included the individual board member assessment
Yes.
of the town manager's performance.
So once that's the case, we get them out, we will move into that next step
Okay.
of doing that. We were provided great guidance this time, really, really strong guidance. And I think that this is really how Attorney Taylor did it, is just very straight cut, very straightforward on this whole this process. So I think that if we can make sure that we keep to our goal of getting this done in this timeline, I think that this way here, we will have a better working piece of the evaluation taken care of. And again, that's something that we as a board need to have a goal in getting this done for the residents of Fort Stewart themselves. So this is one of our goals that we have to do. And,
I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
The interim piece that I will get you either next week or next meeting, I forget what the timeline was, is the self-evaluation to help you with your evaluation, so
Okay.
I'll get that done by next week.
Thank you. All right, then if that is, everybody has everything off their,
Now, where is that piece of paper? Where?
this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Stuart handed that.
Yeah, Stuart handed this, just handed this to us.
Oh, okay.
That one right there.
Okay. Is, now, the one that you,
This one here?
That was in the packet,
okay, which packet?
our packet for tonight's meeting.
Oh, it is in,
Yeah.
for tonight's meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, with that being said, we can have Nancy come back, and then we can move into the town manager's report.
Thanks, Josh. Seated and ready.
Okay, so there's only a couple of things, only a couple of things that we haven't covered previously. The highway department set up their leaf, lawn, and brush collection days. They'll be posted on the site. Basically, they're weekly from Columbus Day to just before Thanksgiving, alternating between Saturdays and Sundays each week. So there'll be one a week for several weeks coming up in mid-October. I think we covered most of we did the curtain, we covered most of the water tank. We have to choose a color, we're leaning toward a moderate green, but if anyone wants to make a big
I'm
claim
the
for a different-
standout. I wanted blue, because to me, blue's water.
I wanted deep
Wastewater
space,
screen.
okay? I was a big fan of
What'd you say?
deep space. I loved it.
I said wastewater's green, so not a good look.
Do you have color samples? No?
I did.
We do.
I don't know what I did with it.
We did get them emailed too. We did have it in our email. That's why I said deep space.
Okay.
I liked it.
I didn't.
That was my first eyeball
I-
choice.
See?
It's very dark.
Anyway, don't worry about it.
Okay, great.
But the green that we're talking about is actually the one that we were talking about the other day.
Clover.
I like it. It's not deep space, but hey, it's something.
It's open space.
That's great. More importantly, I just want to make sure you're aware, I wrote it here, that as they did 20 years ago, they're looking at cutting a door in the tank so that they can get a lift inside to move the work along faster. So that should be going forward. A new valve to isolate the tank, because as you've seen, we have a leak still coming down, and that's because the valve that's in place is faulty. So they're working on using a new hydrant to install a better valve, and that will take care of that issue. Mr. Desmond had asked for an update on funding of the projects that are going on in town. As you can see, there's a lot, but that's attached. Maybe not for tonight, maybe for another, or maybe at the Water and Sewer Commissioners meeting. If you have questions, happy to go over them.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Want to do those now?
Okay.
Yeah, my first one was, which says here, East Main Street Water Sewer Design, almost $500,000. Why in God's name are we spending $500,000 to replace a water line and a sewer line? Or road?
That was the engineer's estimate. It's not just for design, it's for the construction as well, plus the $150,000 for pavement.
It says
I know.
survey permitting. The below it, we have pavement and sidewalks.
Yes,
Well, what's that 467 then?
water and sewer replacement.
Hmm?
Water, sewer replacement and design of the project.
What's being replaced?
The water and sewer.
Wait a minute, let me hear, there's something. Although, is the water line being replaced?
Yes.
Water and sewer.
Okay, just want to be sure. Okay, so you're talking about the water and sewer line replacement, and then on top of that, you're talking about the pavement and sidewalk over and above that.
Correct.
Okay. All right, it wasn't clear to me.
No, I understand.
Okay, going down, you have the Forever Chemicals, and it says here it's 88% complete. What's,
So
no?
I kept the column status in July, it was 88% complete. It's now complete.
I'm not sure. Am I getting that line correct?
Well, there's two statuses. One, I had presented this document back in July.
Okay.
So the first column is what was the status back in July. The last column is where is the status today. So the PFAS study is complete.
They have samples and all that? They've done that sample?
They do samples as part of the water and wastewater, right?
Correct.
System daily. This is reviewing, yes, what the samples are, but what they feel should be the proper way
Okay,
to
is
address
there a
it.
report on that, any documentation?
I would happily give you
I'd like
that
to see
report.
that, okay, I'd like to see that.
Yep,
All right. The next one on Cottage Street, what's the status of that? That's the CBD grant?
yes, all the communities in Massachusetts are waiting to see if they're getting the block grants this year.
Okay, any time frame?
It usually comes out in July, so hopefully October.
Okay, and then fire hydrant repair, which is fine. They did one in front of my house, and it was fine, everything was, but when they just backfilled it, then they just left this thing, it wasn't loomed, it wasn't seeded.
Yes.
Is that part of the project that
Yeah,
they?
so the contractor still has to come through, in some cases put in risers, and in all cases do the landscaping.
Okay. And this PFTA treatment plant,
That's Pete.
Yes,
I had to laugh when I saw that. $6 million?
yes. And that's before you spend 20 million on treatment.
Here we go, all right,
Well, that'll depend on the EPA standards at the time.
yeah. Oh, I have one more, and I think this is important, actually. The Church Street sidewalks.
Yes,
That's just the sidewalks.
yes,
Okay, so what we're gonna be doing is replacing the sidewalks from Main Street up to,
from Pleasant Street up to Walnut.
oh, not from Main Street?
No.
Pleasant? Okay, from Pleasant Street to Walnut.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when they replaced the sidewalks, what about the service lines, water and sewer service lines? What's gonna happen there?
I don't know. We'll have to put it into the engineering, but the grant is for the sidewalks.
Well, see, my concern is that if you put that grant in, and you put sidewalks in, and then it turns out that we do need to get the roads and the main put in, then your service lines will have to go in, and you'd have to dig up the sidewalk for every single house on, from Pleasant Street to Walnut Street to put in those, service lines.
Yes. Understood.
So you're gonna have a brand new sidewalk, and then every house will have a tear up for each one. Is there any way that they could run in
Every
service
house.
lines?
I will ask them.
I mean,
I
that
mean, it
would
would
be.
fall on the homeowner cost. But the
I know,
service
but I
lines are
mean,
not
I'm
ours.
thinking of the cost of, it's just putting a new sidewalk and then digging up the sidewalk.
I understand.
Makes too much sense.
It doesn't make sense, I know.
Well, okay. The option would be not to improve the sidewalk. So I'll ask I understand your point, because it's the same as what we did for East Main Street, but, so I'll ask what they can prepare for.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, how much more would it cost? I mean, you're digging the whole thing up anyway. Just to run, parallel line, dummy lines, so that when you do put the mains in, those service lines would already be there where the sidewalk is. That would be helpful. And even if it costs us a few bucks, I think it'd be worth it.
Anything else? Anyone? Stuart, do you have anything else?
No.
And I guess I would entertain a motion at 8.
I have one more thing,
Oh,
okay. I would like,
you
if at
missed
all
your chance when
possible.
I said anything else.
Yes, this is doing different.
Okay.
When we do have meetings, could we follow the agenda? I find it very frustrating and difficult to hop around from item to item. Like today, we brought people that, in the beginning, and they were very nice people. In the beginning, we had,
The parks and the,
yeah,
domestic
They
violence.
had
yeah, we brought in
scheduled-
domestic, and then we jumped back. I'd like to find,
Because
I know,
we had scheduled times with them, but I will
But I
try to
think it's-
adhere to it.
difficult when I'm old and tired.
Okay.
Also, something that was brought up last night at the, just kind of more or less food for thought that was brought up at our charter review committee meeting. It was said that because we're water and sewer commissioners, and this isn't just our board, but I'm gonna use our board as an example, is that we're allowed to go down to the highway barn, to the water, to the wastewater, and just go down there and start talking and asking questions to the employees. We are not at all allowed to do that. They work underneath Mr. Beckley. Any questions that we have need to go through Mr. Beckley and make sure. Past practices, people have done that in these roles, and whether employees knew it or not, they entertained it. Last night, I was very caught off guard when somebody said, no, you guys are selected, you guys can do that. We're not kings, we are not. We cannot go down there and disrupt their days. If we need to have a conversation with a department head, and none of the subordinates, it is to be conducted through Mr. Beckley, and then we will set up a time and a place for that, as long as Mr. Beckley is aware of it, and they can coordinate that, and then it'll be on their time, not ours. I just want to make sure that that is being perceived as, like I said, it's not just our board, it's any elected board that oversees a department head. Just want to make sure that, because I was very caught off guard that that's how what a resident thought that we could do. And I just said this was a good time to bring this up in general, to talk about this, that we do not have that authority to do that. We should even be making appointments with Stuart, so we aren't disrupting his time and his day. You know, I know in the past it was kind of more laxed where it was, but he does work hard to provide for here. If it's coming in, hi Stuart, how are you? Also make sure that this is not to not say hi. I'll use an example, if I come in to town hall and I'm coming up to pay a tax bill, how are you? They recognize who we are, have a conversation, thank them for their work, their service, and end it there. If there's any other conversations I need to have, just go down and see with Stuart. And the same should be done for the other elected officials as well. Set everything up through Mr. Beckley, and they can arrange that meeting going forward. That's all.
No, that's a good point. I was gonna say something because I bother Stuart all
It's
the time.
not just.
No, it is. I stop you from doing what you were doing. I mean, you're very gracious. But.
And it's not anything reflective on anybody in general. This is just, I was really caught off guard last night when that was brought up, and when my response was, no, we're not allowed to, they were arguing, yes, you can. And so I wanted to make sure that that isn't what the perception is by us. We are not the complete overseers. He sees day-to-day operations. We do not. If there's something that is needed by an employee, a department head, and it's only a department head, it is to go through him. Please refrain from saying anything or giving a command or an order to a subordinate or a department head that we are not in charge of. It keeps everything clean. It also keeps the chain of command in order and in progress, working in the proper way. And with that being said,
Motion to adjourn at 8:45.
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.